Johnny Manziel is widely regarded as one of the worst first-round draft picks ever, considering he was taken with the 22nd overall pick and only managed to start in 8 games, going 2-6, throwing for only 1,675 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. And if he was picked any higher, he'd probably be regarded as the worst bust in NFL history. And since I'm a Panthers fan and we have had no success whatsoever at quarterback, I decided to throw in a rookie Sam Darnold as well in this draft. So we're going to see how Johnny Manziel and Sam Darnold do as rookies. Now I'm going to take Johnny Manziel with the Browns so he can deal. So maybe the team was the problem with Johnny Manziel and the coaching. So I'm going to take him here. So he's going to have Nick Chubb and not good wide receivers. I'm pretty sure I made both of them superstars, so all we can hope is that Carolina does indeed actually take Sam Darnold here. Let's see, they should? Okay, they do. Wow, this worked out good. So now we're going to sim the careers of Johnny Manziel and Sam Darnold in the modern-day NFL as rookies with the modern-day Panthers and the modern-day Browns. And just like that, Johnny Manziel is now starting at quarterback, and it looks like the Browns have a new wide receiver. He's a 14 overall, not too bad. I just kind of wanted to make Jameis Winston a wide receiver. Maybe he will get some targets. Probably not, because he's a 14 overall. But it might be fun if he comes up clutch. Now we can get into this game to see the battle between Johnny Manziel and the 6-4 Browns versus Sam Darnold and the 4-7 Panthers. Something when they play in real life. I think it's like week 2 or week 1. They play each other. That will not happen. Obviously in real life that'll be Baker Mayfield's debut if Matt Rule decides to start him, which I hope he does. Manziel... Oh, really looking like Johnny Manziel there on 3rd and short, throwing that incomplete pass wide right. Sam Darnold on 3rd and 1. He goes play action. He's just going to stand there. Myles Garrett almost gets to him. And Sam Darnold does Sam Darnold things, just like Johnny Manziel, and throws it completely out of bounds. Yep, Nick Chubb is actually in his X Factor here in the end zone. Probably going to see another handoff to him. And they pass it quickly to Jarvis Landry. And Johnny Manziel ends up striking first with a quick pass to Jarvis Landry for the touchdown. Good job by that guard, I think it was. Just standing there, not trying to block anyone, forcing Sam Darnold to throw it away. I think it just said he's 2 for 4 for 15 yards. That's not good, only having 4 pass attempts and only 2 completions about to go into the second quarter. And while the replacement tackle is actually holding up Myles Garrett pretty well, and Sam Darnold is not passing pretty well, now 2 for 5 for 15 yards. Since I didn't change Jameis Winston's number because he stole Manziel's number 2, Manziel ended up getting Baker Mayfield's number, who I think is in Jacksonville. I just traded him for the 1st overall pick kind of straight up, and it worked. And Nick Chubb is gone, yeah, because he'll break this tackle here against J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn forces him out of bounds, but Nick Chubb is just going to eat Carolina up alive right there, getting about maybe 30 to 40 yards. There you go, Nick Chubb on fire, just demolishes Brian Burns and runs into the end zone. Oh my god, that was tough to watch. Extremely, extremely tough to watch. I mean, I like Brian Burns. One of my favorite defenders are probably up there with Jeremy Chin, but he just annihilated him and just waltzed right into the end zone as A.J. Boye is too old and too slow to catch Nick Chubb. After those 2 amazing runs by Nick Chubb, 2 plays, 82 yards, all 82 yards were Nick Chubb, the Browns take the lead 13-0 against Carolina. Sam Darnold's going to have to do way better than 2 for 5 for 11 yards if they want to win this game, or 3 for 6, whatever he has. Well, what great play calling here. 3rd and 9, expecting to see a pass because Chuba's tired. Yep, Darnold dropping back, has the time, actually delivers a decent pass to Terrace Marshall. Sam Darnold dropping back again, throwing to Tommy Tremble, who gets shoved out of bounds. Darnold has picked it up a little bit, 7 for 11 for 50 yards, but why is there just a giant RT at the top of the screen? That's not something you just want to see your quarterback have 50 passing yards. And Tommy Tremble running backwards for a 1-yard gain. Alright. Well, that play was fumbled. Myles Garrett just really... Oh my god, this play calling is terrible. What was that, like 3rd and 3, I believe, and they run a screen pass, and it gets blown up immediately? Right, Carolina opting to take the field goal here. It is good, surprisingly. It kind of looked like it was going to go wide right. 19 seconds left after that beautiful rush from Nick Chubb. Manziel takes the ball, dropping back. Thinks about rolling out, but it's throwing to the end zone. Oh. number 13, I can't tell who that was, but that was almost a beautiful touchdown by Manziel. A little bit of a bad pass towards the back of the end zone, but I think he could have got a toe tap. And Nick Chubb ran into his own O-lineman there. Wow, 9 rushes for 145 yards and a touchdown. And that is at halftime. Chubb will honestly probably break 200 rushing yards this game. At least he's on pace to, definitely. And a quick pass. This is just embarrassing to watch. It was 3rd and 1. Carolina gets a false start. It's 3rd and 6. And then he throws a quick pass to Tommy Tremble on the sideline to where he just toe taps and falls out of bounds, forcing another punt for Carolina. Manziel drops back. Quick pass. Oh my god, Manziel is having some struggles. 3 for 6, 39 yards and a touchdown. I know he's like a 74 overall rookie and doesn't have the best accuracy. I think it's about in the 70s to 80s, but he shouldn't be missing that bad. And he just threw that ball at Brian Burns. I mean, literally, he almost handed the ball off to Brian Burns. Okay, then, Johnny Manziel. I don't know which quarterback is looking worse. Manziel has a touchdown, but it was to a wide-open Jarvis Landry on a slant, I believe. I mean, he's still in his X Factor since I think the first quarter. He's just been dominating them. Nope, play action. Right into Shaq Thompson. Of all places Manziel could have went, it was right into Shaq Thompson. Yeah. You know, it's 2nd and 18, just give it to Nick Chubb, honestly. I mean, he had those 2 rushes for 82 yards and a touchdown on the last drive. I think he may have just actually lost his X Factor. 12 rushes, 160 yards, and 1 touchdown. Yeah, he did. Nick Chubb just lost his X Factor because of Donta Hightower. 3rd and 18, Manziel needs to prove it here. And just chucking it deep. And it's intercepted because it was a bad pass. J.C. Horn actually getting the interception right there. I mean, that wasn't necessarily bad. It's just, if he had more throw power, or I guess kind of threw it earlier, that would have probably been a completion, because that wide receiver had the step on both J.C. Horn and I'm going to assume A.J. Boye. I don't know who the other corner there was. It was Jeremy Chin, actually, the safety. Darnold with a quick pass right to John Johnson III. Right? Yeah, John Johnson III. These quarterbacks are terrible. I understand they're like 77 and 74 overall rookies. I believe Darnold's the higher one. But they suck. There's no other way to put it. They are just abysmal with missing their targets. I'm pretty sure the head coach of the Browns has just given up. He's just going to hand the ball to Nick Chubb now. He lost all faith in Manziel. After giving Carolina a shot to come back, which they have just thrown away because I guess Carolina just doesn't want to win. Manziel on 3rd and 3 dropping back. And oh my god. Right to, I can't tell what, Jeremy Chin playing linebacker, who takes it back for 6 actually. Kind of want a Jeremy Chin jersey. But look at that. All the way back for 6. Jeremy Chin. Once again, just the pass right to him. I don't know what these 2 quarterbacks are doing. That was very reminiscent of the one pick Sam Darnold just threw. He just gifted that to Jeremy Chin. It was right to him. And Johnny Manziel is looking like his real life self, actually. Bad passes, terrible decision making, and with that pick 6, Carolina is back in the game. 10-13, 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter. And they run halfback draw. Nick Chubb does get the first down, but fumbled? Huh? What? I don't even know what I just watched. Is that gonna stand? I'm just so confused. Nick Chubb fumbled, someone kicked it 5 yards down the field, and then the offensive lineman just carried it. I think that technically counts as a fumble because his knee never hit the ground. So what is the officials' review of this? If it stands, their offensive lineman just got a rushing touchdown and sealed the game. So they overturn it. I honestly think Nick Chubb's knee never hit the ground, allowing that to be a legal rushing touchdown for number 71. But I guess Carolina got bailed out. I don't even know what just happened there. Like, I just saw Nick Chubb fumble, the ball got kicked, I look up, and number 71 is in the end zone. 3rd and 10 here. They're passing it for some reason, because if Manziel throws an incomplete pass, alright, it does stop the clock, which saves Carolina a timeout. Why do you not just run it with Nick Chubb to chew up even more time and make Carolina use their last timeout? The AI in this game is just awful with that. The field goal is up and good, 16-10, Cleveland. Sam Darnold dropping back, quick pass to Chuba Hubbard like we've seen this all game. Chuba breaking a tackle and getting all the way up to the 42-yard line. Darnold just got sacked for no reason. 3rd and 17 now, a minute left. Carolina still has their timeout. Darnold goes deep to DJ Moore, who just, wow. And the Carolina's going to use their timeout and get it down to the 12. Or not. DJ Moore just pulled off that amazing catch. 20 seconds strip off the clock. Sam Darnold getting sacked by Myles Garrett and fumbles. And that is game. Wow. Sam Darnold just sold the game with that fumble. Sam Darnold had 14 completions for 21 attempts, 132 yards, no touchdowns to 1 interception. And Johnny Manziel ended up having 5 completions, 12 attempts, 58 yards, and 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. And the Browns do end up making it, going 10-7, just securing a wild card spot. And while this division was an incredibly tight race with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati both going 11-6 and Baltimore and Cleveland going 10-7. Does that say Taylor Heineke led the league in passing yards? Okay, no, hold on. No. Yeah, he did. Taylor Heineke led the league in passing yards with 5,095. Now, this game never ceases to amaze me sometimes. Johnny Manziel only started about 6 or 7 games, but he played in all 17. He ended up having 1,858 yards, 14 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. I mean, alright numbers, and we already saw Nick Chubb led the league in rushing yards. Oh yeah, Kareem Hunt as well. And Johnny Manziel rushing had 21 carries for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Sam Darnold ended up throwing for 4,786 yards, 37 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. And he ended up having 37 carries for 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 fumble. And no, Carolina misses out on the playoffs. Where did they end up going? And the Panthers end up missing out on the playoffs after going 7-10. Now it's time for Johnny Manziel's first ever playoff game. He mainly got here by being carried by Nick Chubb, but, making the playoffs as a rookie quarterback, still pretty solid. I just hope he has a better performance than he did against Sam Darnold in that game we watched. Going into half, it is 24-3. I'm just going to skip to the 4th quarter, maybe see some gameplay. But at this rate, I don't think so, being 27-6. Up 21 points in the 4th quarter. I'm just going to skip to the end of the game because unless they have an all-time choke job, and no they're not, 41-6 against Miami. Johnny Manziel in his first ever playoff game ended up going 20 for 29 for 184 yards, 2 touchdowns to 0 picks. But very impressive to win his first ever playoff game 41-6. And he contributed pretty well, throwing 2 touchdowns, only missing 9 passes, and no interceptions. Now, let's watch the 4th quarter. It's close enough, 17-13. 6 minutes left in the game. We are up, and we are on defense. Johnny Manziel, he got his superstar abilities wearing Baker Mayfield's number. Up 17-13, gonna hand off to Nick Chubb, who, oh my god, just shoves that man into the ground. And unfortunately, that will be a holding penalty on a great run. Because that always seems to happen. You get a beautiful run and immediately gets called back for holding. But Nick Chubb just ended that man's career. That would have been I believe a 25-yard rush or something like that. But unfortunately, it's now 1st and 14 at the Browns' own 16-yard line. But same exact play, the same exact result with Nick Chubb stiff-arming a dude. He's also having a okay game, 21 rushes for 72 yards. I mean, going back to that Panthers game, he was on pace for about 200, but that's still not bad. The first pass by Johnny Manziel, rolling right into 93 and fumbling, but I believe J.C. Treader gets it. Wyatt Teller. No, Treader's over there. Kaepernick throwing a risky pass to Mo Alley Cox there, but it gets broken up. Once again, not having an amazing game, 17 of 32. I would just honestly hand the ball to Jonathan Taylor, maybe on some outside stretches, but Myles Garrett is going to sack Kaepernick because he just stared at Myles Garrett instead of just at least making an attempt to pass the ball. Myles Garrett has definitely been the beast, one of the best defensive ends in the league. And very key here, because as we saw in the game against Sam Darnold, he did end up getting a couple sacks. Or at least getting in Darnold's face, forcing him to make bad passes. On 3rd and 20, the Colts season potentially on the line here. Myles Garrett does get past his guy, forcing Kaepernick to throw it. Wow, and he caught it. Michael Pittman. That amazing sideline toe tap grab on Greg Newsome II. Not Daz Newsome. Greg Newsome II, which automatically gets the Colts up to the 21-yard line. That catch could have just potentially saved their season and playoff hopes here. With a fake end around, right to Jonathan Taylor, who trucks, I believe, Greg Newsome. Indianapolis calling hurry up here. Kaepernick dropping back. Myles Garrett's on the other side of the field. Kaepernick's about to take off and throws a completion to number 13. I don't know if it's No, it's not T.Y. Christian Kirk. Kaepernick escaped there, managed to throw the touchdown to Christian Kirk. I honestly thought it was going to be an incompletion or interception, but he was right behind the line of scrimmage, got the pass off, and scored. Now Cleveland is down 17-20. That's just a series of unfortunate events right there for Cleveland, allowing that Michael Pittman sideline catch and then Kaepernick to roll out and find Christian Kirk for the touchdown. Now down 3, a minute 30 left. They do have all 3 timeouts though. Cleveland, this is doable for them because they only need a field goal to tie it and send it to overtime. And Jalen Phillips gets hurt on Indianapolis, costing them a timeout, but also stopping the clock for Cleveland, so very fortunate for them. Kareem Hunt is in for Nick Chubb. Manziel once again throwing it. Terrible pass. Manziel's 14 for 27, 2 touchdowns to 2 picks. Did Nick Chubb get hurt, or are they just putting in Kareem Hunt for this drive? Honestly, this should just be a run with Kareem Hunt, but no, they give it to Manziel again, who does throw to Kareem Hunt. They get the first down, though. Manziel just eclipses 200 yards with that play. Calling hurry up, not electing to use a timeout for some reason. Manziel, bad pass over the middle, but it is complete to, I believe, Will Fuller. Once again, no huddle, still not using a timeout, or at least attempting to go to the sidelines. Almost called him Mayfield. Johnny Manziel, wow, Will Fuller, touchdown. He was just wide open deep. I was kind of scared. I'm like, oh no, he's going to throw a pick, but no, Johnny Manziel delivers in clutch time, throwing to a wide open Will Fuller in the end zone. And if they get this PAT, it'll be 24-20. Forcing the Colts to go down and get a touchdown. And it is good. So now the Colts cannot win the game with a field goal. They have to score a touchdown with 35 seconds and only 2 timeouts due to the injury timeout costing them when Jalen Phillips got hurt. I mean, Michael Pittman could catch it, but I think they're out of time. And it's picked off by number 21, Denzel Ward. And just like that, with the interception by Denzel Ward and Kaepernick throwing his 4th interception of the game, that seals it. Cleveland advances on, beating Indianapolis 24-20. Johnny Manziel ended up going 17 for 30, 263 yards, 3 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and on the ground he had 3 carries for 6 yards and 1 fumble. That almost cost them the game, but luckily the offensive lineman was able to recover it. And now it'll be Derrick Henry versus Nick Chubb, apparently in a blizzard. That means there's just going to be light snow. The AFC Championship, Cleveland Browns versus the Tennessee Titans. This will be very interesting. Well, it's a playoff blizzard. Where's the snow? Like, I want to see it. Where is it? Alright, Cleveland is down 10 points, but they are at the 8-yard line on 2nd and 1. Oh, there's Nick Chubb, speaking of him, and he gets absolutely stuffed to the line of scrimmage. That is not looking good at all. Right there, Cunningham just stuffing Nick Chubb. 2nd and goal on the 3-yard line, down 10 points with 4:56 left. Manziel is going to pass to a wide open, I can't see his number, who are you? Will Fuller, again, getting the touchdown. And if the PAT is good, make it 13-16. Cleveland down 3 points with 4:53 left in the game. And it is good. Cleveland is now only down 3, which works out very well for them that they were in that scoring position. Now if they're able to stop Derrick Henry and then go down and score, looking very good for them. 3rd and 5 right here, a key stop. Derrick Henry does look like it's tired, so it's probably going to be a pass, yep, for Tannehill. Myles Garrett bulldozing the tackle, forcing an incompletion. I thought that was an interception, but that does end up forcing Tennessee to punt the ball. Myles Garrett proving why he's one of the best DNs in the league. Right there, just bullying that man. 3rd and 2 for Cleveland here. They need to pick this up. Cleveland has more total yards, but Manziel's going to pass on 3rd and 2. And Will Fuller drops it. Manziel 16 for 29, 180 yards, 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. And Cleveland is going to punt on 4th and 2. I guess hoping they can get another stop. I mean, I kind of would have went for it since you have both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And the punt, oh my god, just barely rolled in the end zone. Michael Pilardi almost pinned Tennessee down at their own 1-yard line. It's now crunch time for Cleveland. They have to get a stop here on 3rd and 6. They have all 3 timeouts, but the 2-minute warning has been used up. Tannehill is dropping back to pass to a wide open, I think it's Julio Jones actually, yeah. Julio Jones getting the first down and making things look very bleak for Cleveland here. They needed that stop on 3rd and 6. They're just going to cheer the clock now. And if Cleveland has a chance, it'll probably be with like 20 seconds left. Yeah, 3rd and 1, Cleveland's last chance if they want to have some time left on the clock and win the game. And it's a play-action play on 3rd and 1. I mean, he was wide open. Will Dissly was wide open there. And I think that might have just ended Cleveland's chances of making it to a Super Bowl. Their inability to stop Tennessee on 3rd downs. Yeah, and that's game. Derrick Henry picking up that first down. That is officially game. Tennessee's just going to milk the rest of the clock, and Cleveland can't do anything about it. Cleveland, unfortunately, does end up losing to Tennessee 13-6. And what cost them maybe a little bit of play from Johnny Manziel, but also just their inability to stop Derrick Henry. Manziel, appearing in his first ever AFC Championship as a rookie, ends up going 16 for 29, 180 yards, 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. Running the ball, he ended up going 2 for 14, no touchdowns and no fumbles. And Tampa Bay does end up winning the Super Bowl, with Carlton Davis being the Super Bowl MVP, and Sam Darnold wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, I can see him. So, Sam Darnold has, if you're just looking at like the stats and awards so far, Sam Darnold has had the better season because he won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he had a better season than Manziel. But again, Manziel made it to the AFC Championship, so. This year, the Browns go 7-10 and miss out on the playoffs. That's not good considering they were just in the AFC Championship. But I guess the Cleveland Browns traded out themselves for the Carolina Panthers, who were the 6th seed and ended up making it. That's the most Carolina Panthers thing to do, go 9-8 and make the playoffs. But Johnny Manziel, in his first full season as the starting quarterback, ended up throwing for 3,694 yards, 25 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. That's still a lot of interceptions. And on the ground, he had 31 carries for 112 yards, 1 touchdown, and no fumbles. And Sam Darnold definitely had a breakout year here, throwing for 4,747 yards, 39 touchdowns to 14 interceptions, and on the ground he added 46 carries for 153 yards, 3 touchdowns to no fumbles. And look for any stupid stats any stupid stats like that. Baker Mayfield leading the league in passing, 5,277 yards, with 46 touchdowns to only 12 interceptions. And Carolina does end up upsetting the number 3 seeded Arizona Cardinals 34-28. Sam Darnold ended up throwing for 268 yards, 3 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. And on the ground, Sam Darnold had 4 rushes for 18 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. This might get kind of scary for them. This might be where their run ends. And it does to the number 1 seeded Dallas, 38-35. Darnold ended up throwing for 322 yards, 4 touchdowns to 1 interception. But he did get sacked 5 times, and Dak got sacked 0 and did not throw a single pick. I mean, Sam Darnold performed way better than Dak Prescott. But there you go, Zeke. 167 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. Darnold had 1 carry, 6 yards. No touchdown, no fumble. And Baker Mayfield ends up winning the Super Bowl, beating out Lamar Jackson, and he wins Super Bowl MVP. So the guy we traded away for the first overall pick to select Johnny Manziel ends up winning a Super Bowl on Tampa Bay. I'm pretty sure that's back-to-back for Tampa Bay. This year, Cleveland goes 12-5, and Cleveland is going to be getting the revenge matchup of the AFC Championship from 2 years ago against the Tennessee Titans. Johnny Manziel, almost reaching 4,000 yards, ends up throwing for 3,994, 27 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. Johnny Manziel, 34 carries, 126 yards, no touchdowns to no fumbles. Sam Darnold throws for 4,066 yards, 34 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. And on the ground, 38 carries, 131 yards, 1 touchdown to no fumbles. And Carolina and Cleveland do make it for the first time. Carolina ends up being the 3rd seed, going against their division rival, 6th-seeded Atlanta Falcons. And Cleveland is the 5th seed this year, getting the AFC Championship rematch, like I said, against the Titans. Now with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in this AFC Championship revenge game, Cleveland is up 17-13. Manziel throws a pass to Jarvis Landry, wide open, converting on that 3rd and 8. Manziel hands off again to Nick Chubb, who breaks a tackle and gets shoved down to the 2-yard line. Cleveland is trying to put this game out of reach with a touchdown here, as long as they don't do anything stupid like force Johnny Manziel to pass at the 2-yard line. But Nick Chubb rushes into the end zone and potentially ends the game there. I mean, it'll be an 11-point lead, but if they force a fumble off either Tannehill or Derrick Henry, or force Tannehill to throw an interception, that is most likely a game. Considering there's only 3 minutes left and they're down 24-13. Ferguson, awesome. Wow, and number 28 forces the fumble on, I believe, Ferguson, the guy who just caught the first down pass. Grant Delpit recovers it, and that looks like it's going to be game for Tennessee. Yeah, it's a clean fumble. Cleveland up 24-13, 2:40 left in the game. They're just going to chew clock and try and score if they can. Nick Chubb getting another nice carry there. For one last Hail Mary that is probably just going to get smacked to the ground or picked off. And smacked to the ground. Cleveland wins the rematch. Now all I can say is I hope Sam Darnold won his game. Manziel had a relatively quiet game, going 18 for 34, 268 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. And same thing, he actually did have a rushing touchdown though, 4 carries, 21 yards, and a rushing touchdown, no fumbles. Sam Darnold does end up winning his game 31-24 against his rival Falcons. Darnold ended up throwing for 248 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. He had a bad game, but it looks like he was saved by McCaffrey, who had 20 carries for 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. Well, there's where Kareem Hunt went. He apparently went to Atlanta. And Darnold had 2 carries for 1 yard, no fumbles, no touchdowns. Blizzard. I'm going to see if it actually will be like a snow game. Well, it's not really much of a blizzard, but it definitely is a snow game. I kind of wish Madden would do like that snow game against the Bills and Eagles, where you really couldn't see much. Jumping into the 4th quarter, Cleveland is up 28-13. And passing the ball in these windy conditions right into the hands of Denzel Ward. I think his attempted target was Jerry Jeudy. Manziel does find a wide open Will Fuller over the middle of the field. And Joel Bitonio gets hurt. That is not good at all for us. Not good at all. Manziel's 21 for 27, 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. Having a better game than he did against the Titans, definitely. And there he goes, Nick Chubb, getting all the way down to the 5-yard line. Reaches 100 rushing yards here. 1st and goal, 2:15 left. Another outside stretch to Nick Chubb, but this time it does not cross the line, gets him down to the 1, and is causing Denver to start using their timeouts. But that may be too late, because Cleveland only needs 1 more yard to get a touchdown. Bobby Wagner is here? And I believe that is a holding penalty, actually. So it will bounce them. Yeah, and that is a holding penalty, which backs them up 5 yards. Or 10 yards, actually. And just like that, with that 1 holding penalty, Cleveland goes from the 1-yard line to the 10-yard line. Still they're in great field goal range, so even if they don't manage to score here, but Nick Chubb really wants to get that touchdown, getting them all the way back up to the 4. Denver only 1 more timeout, down a touchdown still. And Nick Chubb just... okay, he got a touchdown, but I believe Damon Jones gets injured for Denver. That was kind of close. I thought Nick Chubb came up kind of short. And that makes the game 27-13. While D. Collins does kind of look like Drew Lock, John Elway's famous tall white quarterbacks who cannot pass, and Myles Garrett is putting an end to this game and Denver's season, recovering that fumble for the touchdown. And it does stand, and that is officially going to be game 34-13 for Cleveland. Because there's no way Denver's coming back from this. Only 1 timeout, and their quarterback has thrown a pick and given up a fumble that was recovered for a touchdown. So this is another AFC Championship berth for Johnny Manziel. 2 in 3 years, I believe, because he missed the playoffs. Wait, so Johnny Manziel made the AFC Championship in his rookie year, missed it his 2nd year, and in his 3rd year, he is already back to the AFC Championship. It's very impressive. And we're either facing... And the Browns are either facing the 7th-seeded Jacksonville Jaguars or the number 1-seeded Pittsburgh Steelers. And Collins just throwing it deep here, intercepted by Denzel Ward? Yeah, intercepted by Denzel Ward. I'm pretty sure Denzel Ward's 2nd interception of the game. And the 2nd one, yeah, that we have seen D. Collins just throw right to him. Johnny Manziel going 21 for 27, 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. And on the ground, he had a relatively... Oh, there he is. He had a relatively quiet game, 3 carries for 11 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. I kind of wish it was Jacksonville, but they didn't really do anything. And the third-seeded Carolina Panthers join us in the NFC Championship, but they beat the Packers 31-24. Jordan Love had a game, 355 and 3 touchdowns. Darnold threw for 280 yards, no touchdowns to 1 interception. Okay, yep, that's why they won. Christian McCaffrey, 18 carries, 92 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Darnold had 3 carries, 12 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. I hope Carolina does win so we can see who is the bigger carry, Christian McCaffrey or Nick Chubb. But both are going up against the number 1 seeds. In NFC, it's San Fran, and in the AFC, it's Pittsburgh. He did not get the first down there, so a key 3rd and 1. A. Daniel's actually playing pretty well. 189 yards, 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. It looks like they're just going to hand it to Najee Harris up the middle here. No, it's a pass on 3rd and inches, even though you already have Najee Harris. And he might have picked it up, but I think he got stuffed. Yeah, 4th and inches. Grant Delpit stuffs Najee Harris, even though he had to reach for it. It activated, I guess, a little bit too late, or just lied and said it activated. Cleveland up 19-14, 4 minutes left. Wow, that was a good punt. Alright, Manziel, just don't choke. He is throwing it deep, a little bit pressured. But it's too... Will Fuller had the step, but just couldn't grab it. That's pretty solid for Manziel, 208 yards, a touchdown. At least no interceptions. This is 3rd and 4 here. Manziel is going to pass. He has time on the run. And it is caught, I believe. Yeah, that's an amazing catch by Denzel Mims. But an impressive catch on a not really good throw because Manziel was kind of on the run. Johnny Manziel throwing off his back foot. This is most likely going to be an interception. Or just an amazing moss for Richard. It has to be an auto-generated rookie. But Manziel got lucky, honestly, because that was a back foot pass. And usually when a quarterback does that, it is intercepted. And to be honest, he had no reason to throw a back foot pass. But it worked out anyway. 10 more yards to try and seal this game away with a touchdown. And Nick Chubb almost gets past Minkah Fitzpatrick down to the 1-yard line on what I believe is 3rd and goal. If I had to guess, it's going to be a handoff to Nick Chubb. Nope, it's play action. And Manziel shakes off the sack by TJ Watt and actually completed the pass to Jarvis Landry. Or, no, that's not Jarvis. I can't believe he just shook off that sack by TJ Watt there. Probably the best defensive end in the league. And he just somehow broke out of it. I don't even think he has that high of a break sack, honestly. Alright, 4th and 5. Pittsburgh's last chance to save their season. Going 5 wide. Just letting time drip away. They need to score here and then get an onside. And it's an incomplete pass forced by, I believe, Denzel Ward. But that right there will end Pittsburgh's season. And let Cleveland go to the Super Bowl. I believe for Cleveland's first ever Super Bowl appearance. And it's with Johnny Manziel at the quarterback position. In the AFC Championship game, Johnny Manziel ends up going 25 for 36 for 273 yards, 2 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. And running the ball, he had 6 rushes for 14 yards, no touchdowns, and no fumbles. I'm going to wait to see who made it to the Super Bowl. Let's just hope it's Carolina. And it actually is. We are going to be able to get the Super Bowl matchup of the Carolina Panthers with Sam Darnold at the quarterback position, and then Johnny Manziel as the Browns quarterback. They end up winning 28-14 against the number 1 seeded San Francisco 49ers. Darnold had 241 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He had 6 carries for 15 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. Who really is the best player? Is it Sam Darnold, who's already an X factor, Johnny Manziel, Nick Chubb, or Christian McCaffrey? We'll see who comes out on top in this game. Alright, Manziel's first pass play. He's got good blocking, and he throws it deep to Jarvis Landry, who makes a one-handed catch behind J.C. Horn. Manziel's first completion for 46 yards. And now Carolina, I believe in this universe, still has Hassan Reddick. Unlike in real life how he left for the Eagles just so he could be closer to Temple. Because that's the college he went to. That will be interesting to see how him and Brian Burns are going to affect Manziel during this game. And they've ran 3 plays, I believe, and they're already at the Carolina's 19-yard line. Manziel going for a second pass. Actually, he's taking off wide open up the middle, sliding, and M. Hurst for Carolina gets hurt. That is not good for them. Those injuries came in like about a minute into the game. Manziel throwing it, risky pass to Austin Hooper, getting down to the 5-yard line. Manziel with a great start though, 2 for 3 for 53 yards. 3rd and 4 at the 5-yard line. Let's see what Cleveland decides to do here. And it is a pass, and Manziel is throwing it. Alright, a 0-yard pass. I mean, I honestly would have just chucked it down to Nick Chubb there and just let him truck a couple people, but it looks like Cleveland is only getting away with 3, yeah. Cleveland only gets 3 points out of that. Carolina makes a beautiful goal line stand, stopping Cleveland from getting past the 5-yard line. So not the best for him. I would have liked for him to get a passing one because he's more of a passing archetype than a scrambler, but the game decided that. And Darnold's first pass, trying to go to Robbie Anderson, was almost intercepted. Darnold is indeed passing, throws to a wide open Robbie Anderson, actually. And looks like Pete, Carolina's guard, just got hurt. That's 3 injuries in this first quarter, 2 O-linemen and 1 defensive lineman. I mean, that's when you dump it down to the running back. Christian McCaffrey does indeed get the first down. Darnold is 2 for 3 for 34 yards. So both quarterbacks off to pretty good starts. Time winding down in the first quarter, only about a minute left. Carolina's about to cross the 50. Myles Garrett gets to Darnold. He rolls out and throws it away. He honestly should have just kept running because I'm pretty sure he's faster than Myles Garrett. And I know he's 99 kick power, but Darnold is going to the end zone on an awful pass. I mean, I've seen DJ Moore make those catches before, but he didn't have enough room, and it was just a bad pass in general. Carolina is now punting the ball, trying to pin Cleveland. Cleveland has pinned at their 2-yard line. Manziel had that first pass for 43 yards, and now I don't think he's thrown over 10. Shaq Thompson sacking Manziel. He didn't have a chance there. If a linebacker was there to cover Nick Chubb, that honestly probably could have been a safety. Handoff to Chubb, 3rd and 2. He gets way more than the 2 needed yards. Manziel drops back. Burns getting off his block, but it doesn't matter because Donovan Peoples-Jones is wide open. Oh no, it's Denzel Mims. He just stole his number. The running game has not really worked out for either team, with Nick Chubb being 6 for 17, and I think McCaffrey's like 3 for 1. Johnny Manziel converting that 3rd and 1 now is 9 for 10 for over 100 yards. And Carolina just keeps letting them get these 3rd downs. They keep forcing them to 3rd downs, but they're not getting the stops they need. And Manziel just ran right into Hassan Reddick. They are in field goal range, so Carolina needs another stop here. Manziel's getting sacked by number 13. Now 3rd and 17 after 2 straight sacks for Carolina. If they get one more, it might be out of field goal range, and they will with Brian Burns getting the sack here and not electing to call a timeout. I guess that's Madden AI for you. It's 4th and 27, you're down 3 points with 50 seconds left. Don't stop the clock and just let it go to halftime. Sometimes this AI is just incredibly stupid. I mean, like, why don't you want to call a timeout and try and go down and score and then get ball at half? Darnold dropping back again, another quick pass and another incredibly risky pass to Robbie Anderson. Now 3rd and 2, Carolina's not in field goal range, and they will stay out of field goal range. McCaffrey has just been not a factor here, only 5 rushes for 3 yards, and another punt out of Carolina. Manziel taking off. There's no one in front of him? Okay, Jeremy Chin comes over and forces him down. Yeah, Johnny Manziel right now is the best rusher in the game for 2 rushes for 40 yards. And the handoff to Chubb, who is brought down by Yatir Gross-Matos, I believe. That's the dude that got injured earlier, the offensive lineman. That guy got injured twice in the Super Bowl. Brian Burns again getting to Manziel, but it's too late as Denzel Mims is open over the middle. It is not looking good for Carolina. They blew that chance at the end of the second quarter right before halftime to score, and then when they got the opening kickoff to half, they choked again to score when they had to punt. Manziel looks like he's going for the end zone, kind of getting to the 5, yeah. Will Fuller open at the 5. Carolina did get a goal line stand here at the beginning of the game. Will they be able to do it again? No. Shaq Thompson got off his block and ends up tackling Chubb. Again, play action at the 5-yard line. It is actually dropped by number 87. Wow. Number 87 just had a chance to catch a touchdown, I guess. It doesn't really have that many implications, but Shaq Thompson sacking Manziel there. 4th and goal. Carolina has managed to get 2 goal line stands. Mainly this one was way more lucky because 87 dropped a wide open touchdown. He didn't have anyone around him, he just had butterfingers and dropped it. But Carolina has a successful goal line stand, forcing Cleveland to take 2 field goals. Cleveland now up 6-0. Carolina has to find some offense here. What I said earlier about who's the better running back between McCaffrey and Chubb, it ends up being Johnny Manziel because he has like 2 rushes for 40 yards. Darnold throwing to a wide open DJ Moore, who ends up breaking the tackle, but is brought down by John Johnson III. Darnold 7 for 11, 116 yards. He's kind of finding his momentum now. They have 5 minutes in the 4th quarter to score because they've showed like nothing on offense. Their defense has been great, but their offense not so much. Tommy Trimble wide open, getting the first down. Again, McCaffrey handoff, and again, it is stuffed. 9 rushes, 11 yards. Darnold going to the end zone to the wide open Christian McCaffrey, and Christian McCaffrey finally does something in this game, and it is get a receiving touchdown when he was wide open. And just like that, Carolina has taken the lead as long as his PAT is good. They go up 17-6, or oh my god, 7-6. That's what I was trying to say there. Yeah, just with that one play, McCaffrey finally, and just with that one play, Carolina ends up taking, oh my god. No one wants to see the Cam Newton dab. Just stop. When Christian McCaffrey finally finds his place in the offense by being left wide open there and getting that easy receiving touchdown and taking the 1-point lead. Will Fuller does not get the first down. That'll be 3rd and 1, I believe. Yes, 3rd and 1 right here. Are they going to let the 2-minute warning hit? No, they're going to hike it right before the 2-minute warning, and they end up getting it. Nick Chubb untouched for the first down. 2 minutes left. Carolina is up 7-6. They are in no huddle. Why are they in no huddle? Okay, Manziel just standing, hit as he throws, and it is picked off by Jeremy Chin. Wow, I think it was Yetur Gross-Matos who hit Johnny Manziel as he threw, and I guess it caused it to be that inaccurate to go right to Jeremy Chin. To my surprise, both of the running backs, Nick Chubb and Christian McCaffrey, have just done, like, nothing. I think Nick Chubb has, like, 20, maybe, like, 25 rushing yards, and McCaffrey, I don't even think has 10, maybe if that. And Darnold picked up that first down right there, too. Bell? Yeah. Dell, my bad. Ardell picks up the first down. Or did he? The booth is reviewing it. With only 1 minute and 2 left, this could be crucial here for Carolina. Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, the receiver had possession. And honestly, if we were to talk about a Super Bowl MVP, it honestly might be Shaq Thompson because he got 2 sacks. It's either going to be Shaq Thompson for his 2 sacks or Jeremy Chin for his game-sealing interception. Maybe McCaffrey, but I don't think that 1 receiving touchdown will propel him, even though that was the only touchdown scored in the entire game. But I think it's going to be Shaq Thompson, honestly. Sam Darnold has beaten Johnny Manziel and the Cleveland Browns in the Super Bowl by a score of 7-6. This was a very defensive game with Carolina, I believe, getting 4 sacks. And I don't think Cleveland got a single sack, actually. With the only touchdown in general coming from Christian McCaffrey on a receiving touchdown. But Darnold did outperform Johnny Manziel. But hopefully we will be able to see this matchup again. Johnny Manziel ended up going 16 for 20 for 194 yards, no touchdowns to 1 pick. And he honestly should have had a touchdown, but I think it was like number 87. Let's see if I can find him. Where is he? Otis Baker. This guy right here, number 87, is the guy who dropped the wide open touchdown pass that would have put Cleveland up, I believe, 10-0, I believe. It would have put them up. And that was just a massive miss right there. And Sam Darnold ended up going 10 for 14, 173 yards, 1 touchdown to 0 interceptions. And like I said with the running game, McCaffrey had 11 for 14, Nick Chubb had 10 for 34, Darnold just kneeled the ball out, he didn't have a rush attempt, 3 for -3, and Johnny Manziel performed the best, having 2 rushes for 40 yards. And like I said, Shaq Thompson ends up being the Super Bowl MVP, and no one else won any awards. Going 10-7, the Cleveland Browns do make the playoffs, now see if Carolina, the Super Bowl champions, do, yes, as the 5th seed. So at least both of the teams made it back to the playoffs. I'm pretty sure the only time they've missed the playoffs was Sam Darnold's rookie year and Johnny Manziel's 2nd season, because Manziel made it to the AFC Championship as a rookie, now in the 4th year. year they can leave, but I do not expect them to. Johnny Manziel had 3,782 yards, 28 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. And rushing, he had 43 carries, 156 yards, 0 touchdowns to 0 fumbles. Sam Darnold threw for 4,311 yards, 26 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And rushing, he had 35 carries for 126 yards, 1 touchdown to 0 fumbles. Alright, yeah, I think that breaks the record by a little bit. Patrick Mahomes throwing for almost 5,400 yards. Josh Allen threw for 5,100. Mac Jones threw for 5,000. This is not looking good for Cleveland. Down 9-21 at half. See if they can make the comeback or they'll get knocked out in the wild card round. I think it's just safe to say that they lost this game. Was it 41-12? Yeah, Russell Wilson on the Raiders absolutely dominated us. Manziel went 23 for 40, 204 yards, 0 touchdowns and 1 interception. I mean, Nick Chubb, 20, 96, pretty good game. Manziel had 3 carries, 17 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. From going to the Super Bowl to losing into the wild card round. And no, they dominate the Detroit Lions 42-21. Darnold threw for 357 yards, 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. Wow, he really did not want to lose to Detroit. And running the ball, he had 3 carries, 14 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. And they end up winning 41-38. Carolina's put up, 83 points in their last 2 games? Wow, they really want to make it back to another Super Bowl win. And yeah, Mayfield is back. Darnold throwing for 333 yards, 3 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. And running, he had 2 carries, 14 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. And he threw for, 3 touchdowns here, and I believe, 5 last game, did it say? Yeah, Sam Darnold in 2 playoff games has thrown 8 touchdowns to 1 interception. And now going up against the number 1 seeded Arizona Cardinals. I think just like last year, actually. You'll see if they are able to beat Arizona again, the number 1 seed. And they do. Wow. Carolina wins 31-28. Another really close game. They had 2 quarterbacks. I guess Kyler Murray got hurt or something? Because why else would they have 2 quarterbacks? But somehow we allowed 2 different quarterbacks to throw 2 touchdowns against us. But Darnold threw for 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And running the ball, 3 for 18, no touchdowns, no fumbles. Alright, time to see if Darnold can repeat as Super Bowl champions, this time against the Ravens. Unfortunately, not the Cleveland Browns. And they do win 41-38. Wow, Christian McCaffrey won Super Bowl MVP this time. And we had no other award winners. Yeah, Carolina won back-to-back Super Bowls. I'm honestly kind of shocked, but no, it's awesome for him. Winning against us. So they went from dropping 7 points and only scoring 1 touchdown in the Super Bowl to the next year dropping 41 points in the Super Bowl. Hey, at least Manziel has 1 Super Bowl appearance and Darnold has 2 Super Bowl wins. At least they're doing good. So Johnny Manziel signed a 5-year deal. Now time to go see if Darnold is still on the team, and I don't know why he would leave. Yeah, he's still here at a boosted to a 99 overall, plus 2 for morale, so Darnold has a 97 overall. Alright, so Darnold signed a 6-year deal, Manziel signed a 5-year deal. Darnold has 99 short, medium, and a 95 deep accuracy. I did not expect Darnold to be this good this quick. I mean, he's already a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He's a 97 overall X Factor. It's just something I don't get about this game. And this little awards tab here, it gives you these Offensive Player of the Week, but only for that season. So there's new ones every year. And it does not have the Super Bowls that he won. So I guess winning a Super Bowl is not an award, except having 1 Pro Bowl appearance, being the 2nd overall pick in the draft, being the Rookie of the Year. I mean, I understand. I just don't know why there's no Super Bowl ring or 2023 Super Bowl champion or whatever, just in that awards. The only way to see how many Super Bowls he has would be to go over to the Legacy leaderboard. That's what it's, yeah, Legacy leaderboard. Go to quarterbacks and just see there. Yeah, there you go. 2 Super Bowls, 2 AFC championships. Johnny Manziel only has a 731 Legacy score, with 1 AFC championship and pretty much nothing else to his name. So both Darnold and Manziel are here to stay, which is good. So for the next 6 years, Darnold will be in Carolina, and for the next 5 years, Manziel will be in Cleveland. So hopefully in that time we can get another Super Bowl rematch. Matchup number 3 between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. 2 times in the regular season, 1 time in the Super Bowl. I believe Sam Darnold is 2-0 in those games because, Johnny Manziel threw an interception to lose the first game, and then he lost the Super Bowl. Darnold going deep on the first play of the game to DJ Moore, who catches it over, I'm not sure who number 44 is, but DJ Moore. I think it was a 59-yard reception for DJ Moore there. I mean, that's why DJ Moore's so deadly, especially in Madden 22, because he'll just make catches like that all the time. Just the tight end not reacting to it and bouncing off his back. That could have been a touchdown in only 3 plays. But 3rd and 4, 10 more yards to go. Darnold running right into Myles Garrett. Gets the pass off and down to the 1-yard line. Carolina in 4 plays have gotten all the way down to Cleveland's 1-yard line. Handoff to McCaffrey, who bounces off his tackle and scores. And just like that, in 5 plays, Carolina has scored a touchdown. The Browns really do love play action, but hey, I guess it's working. I guess that's Austin Hooper who just got his touchdown revoked by number 18 there. Wow, that is so sad. Richard just took away Austin Hooper's touchdown because of that very unnecessary illegal block in the back. Trey Richard just took away that touchdown for Cleveland. I guess at least Cleveland gets it at the 17-yard line, but I know they would rather have that touchdown than potentially just get 3-and-outed again. Or have a 3-and-out just like the Super Bowl, where Carolina had amazing goal line stands and just stopped them. Manziel is just going to stand in the pocket. He has all the time in the world. And Richard stepped out of bounds. Cleveland is going to challenge it, but I do not think his foot was in bounds. So that is 2 touchdowns just negated by Richards. Did he? I don't know because it's not showing us the feet. What's the call? It is actually reverted to a touchdown, so it is only 1 touchdown negated by Richards. He almost cost Cleveland 2 touchdowns that drive. Wow, McCaffrey's having a way better game here than he did in the Super Bowl. He was getting completely shut down in that Super Bowl. And here he already has 2 rushes for 34 yards and a touchdown. I don't even think he had 34 yards the entirety of the Super Bowl. Here he goes again. Cleveland just cannot stop McCaffrey this game. Maybe McCaffrey just plays better in the regular season, I guess. 3rd and 2 for Carolina here. They're actually going to pass when, honestly, on a running down. But when you have McCaffrey, just put him on a swing route and throw it to him immediately, and it works. Alright, Beverly just running untouched into the end zone right there. I'm kind of surprised that the backup was able to do it, but I guess he's pretty solid, considering he just did not get touched running into the end zone. Carolina taking the lead 14-7 with 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 by McCaffrey and 1 by Beverly. Their offense has looked unstoppable. I'm pretty sure Sam Darnold has only missed 1 pass. Oh yeah, it was the Tommy Trimble pass that bounced off his back because he wasn't looking directly at Sam Darnold. Yeah, it's the minor details that make the game more kind of realistic. And Nick Chubb running over number 38 and getting to the 26-yard line. Manziel's only missed 1 pass, but only has 50-something yards to show for it. Manziel's looking to change that, but he ends up rolling out and throwing it right before Brian Burns could get to him. And I honestly have no idea what that flag is on. Illegal touching. Wow, it's an illegal touching call against KJ Hamler. That is another touchdown just taken away by a penalty. First, it was the illegal block in the back by, I'm going to call him Trent Richards or whatever, Richards. And then that illegal touching by KJ Hamler. So they can save their timeouts. But then that happens. Manziel gets sacked. Manziel on 3rd and goal. I thought he was just going to run straight into Derek Brown. The dump-off pass gets nowhere near the end zone. Oh, so now Carolina wants to call their timeouts at the end of half. Whatever, I'm going to stop being salty about the AI just being dumb. Wait, we took Terrace Marshall from them? Okay, so we have Terrace Marshall and they have Donovan Peoples-Jones then. Or Donovan Peoples-Jones. Darnold going, oh my god, Darnold. I mean, it was a decent pass, just he got hit as he threw and put a little bit too much power on it. But it wasn't that bad of a pass because DJ Moore had the step. Honestly, I think if Darnold had more time, that would have been a completion. The X factor is too much as Nick Chubb just plows his way into the end zone. Cleveland is now going to take the lead 17-14. This is the first time Carolina is going to trail in the entire game, actually. 3rd and inches for Carolina, but will they be able to stop Nick Chubb is the real question here. It is an outside handoff. Ooh, and just barely Nick Chubb breaks 2 tackles and gets the first down. Now, it's not all over for Carolina. It mostly is. This is their last attempt to stop Cleveland and force them to punt the ball. Right here's the game. If Cleveland picks it up, it's over. And Nick Chubb gets stuffed. 20 rushes, 140 yards, and a touchdown. It's 4th and inches. Cleveland is indeed in field goal range. Let's see, misses? Ooh, just barely. Cleveland goes up 20-14 with like 54 seconds left. Somewhere around that time. I mean, yeah, there's DJ Moore. You'd say in the middle of the field, but pretty wide open. 12 for 16, 149 for Sam Darnold. They're calling hurry up. Same play. Myles Garrett gets off his block. Darnold throwing it to a, whoa, number 19. Just absolutely mossing that guy. And they're not kneeling the ball. They're going straight forward. This is the last play of the game. 3 seconds left to DJ Moore over the middle. He gets stopped by number 28, who might be Owosu Koromoa. Christian McCaffrey scored a rushing touchdown, even though Carolina did not score in the first quarter. That wasn't even the score. It wasn't 20-7. And it's right here because Beverly is Carolina's backup running back. Okay, I'm just so confused because it's not showing Johnny Manziel having the passing touchdown to... So this does not show Johnny Manziel actually completing a passing touchdown to Trey Richards. I guess because it got reviewed, even though that it was upheld as a touchdown. That should have been in the first quarter. But apparently Carolina scored only 7 points, even though they scored here and Christian McCaffrey scored here, but that's labeled as Cleveland for some reason. I don't know anymore. Yeah, but you can see right here on the main screen it was 20-14. I don't know, this game's broken. But Sam Darnold had 14 completions for 18 attempts, 200 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. And Johnny Manziel went 10 for 13, 104 yards, and a passing touchdown that just is not here, and no interceptions. Whatever, Johnny Manziel finally gets his win over Sam Darnold. He is now 1-2 against Sam Darnold. And we end up going 9-8, missing out on the playoffs. Well, we will not be seeing that matchup this year. And Carolina misses as well. Carolina ended up going 8-9 as well. Johnny Manziel threw for 3,486 yards, 31 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. I think it's his best touchdown to interception season he's ever had. Running the ball, he had 30 carries, 161 yards, and 1 touchdown. No fumbles. Sam Darnold threw for 4,170 yards, 27 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. And on the ground, he had 41 carries for 172 yards, 1 touchdown, and no fumbles. I want to see Sam Darnold roll out of the pocket because apparently he loves to do it. Just not when we decide to watch the games. And this year, the Browns finished even worse, going 5-12, somehow not bottom of the division. And Carolina makes the playoffs going 11-6. I don't know why I decided to check there, but I just did. And I didn't look at the season recap last year. And I skipped the season recap last year, so here you go. Chicago finally wins another Super Bowl, and poor Bills fans, even in 2026, they still have no rings. 3rd-seeded Panthers will take on the 6th-seeded Saints. Kind of a tongue twister, the 6th-seeded Saints. And they get bounced in the first round to the Saints, 45-32. Wow, we really allowed Alex Bennett to throw 5 touchdowns. Sam Darnold threw for 305 yards, 4 touchdowns to 1 interception, and he had no rushes at all. Well, that was a pretty short-lived season, considering Cleveland only won 5 games, and Carolina got bounced in the wild card round. I think for the first time in his career, Johnny Manziel eclipsed 4,000 passing yards, throwing for 4,112 yards, 23 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. Oh, that's probably why we suck. They let Nick Chubb walk for some reason. He had 41 carries, 146 yards, 1 touchdown to no fumbles. Sam Darnold throwing for a career high, I believe, 4,630 yards, 35 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. And on the ground, he had 45 carries, 185 yards, 4 touchdowns to 0 fumbles. Sam Darnold actually makes the Pro Bowl, but I'm willing to bet money that if I go to his player card, it just will not exist, or the count will be wrong. Atlanta wins their first ever Super Bowl, and no one else won any awards. And 6-11, only improving on 1 win. It looks like that Cleveland really needed Nick Chubb, and I guess he retired, and Carolina is the first seed. Carolina goes 14-13, the best team in the league, actually. Manziel again, over 4,000 passing yards with 4,074 passing yards, 26 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. I guess he just got hurt last season because he's still here. I just ignore me then. He just wasn't here, so I assumed that they let him walk, but no. I guess he was just hurt, but he's back. So they did this poorly even with Nick Chubb back? I guess not to his full strength, but still. Manziel had 38 carries for 121 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. And Sam Darnold threw for 4,424 passing yards, 34 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Yeah, I can see why they're the number 1 seed, with McCaffrey having almost 2,000 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns. Darnold had 35 carries, 155 yards, and 1 touchdown with 0 fumbles. I mean, I'm fine with seeing Darnold win another Super Bowl. At least they're succeeding. Well, he is, with 2 Super Bowl rings. Really? They lose by 6 to the 5th seeded Tampa Bay. Why do you have to go and disappoint me like that, guys? Ooh, come on, you let Mayfield win even throwing 2 interceptions. Sam Darnold, 201 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Darnold had 1 for 9. Well, Sam Darnold at least made the Pro Bowl. That should be expected. They get absolutely dominated by the Bills. And the Bills finally win their first ever Super Bowl. It only took them until 2028 and going up against Baker Mayfield as the starting quarterback for Tampa Bay. But they finally did it. I think I said McCaffrey won MVP as well. Hey, finally making it back to the playoffs, winning the division at 11-6. Okay, we're playing in Cleveland. I was about to say there's no way there's a blizzard in Florida. And Carolina is the number 1 seed yet again. Unfortunately, that did not work out well for them last year. Hey, but we're the 2nd seed. So they're the number 1 and number 2 seeds. This is probably the best shot realistically. Okay, 14-13, leading the league again. Manziel threw for 3,965 yards, 31 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. And he had 38 carries, 174 yards, 1 touchdown to no fumbles. Darnold threw for 4,477 yards, 30 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. And on the ground, he had 43 carries for 165 yards, 2 touchdowns to 0 fumbles. I guess for the snow blizzard thing to take effect, for some reason you have to click on it and then it'll make it a snow game. I guess, and if you did that, why would you ever click on it? Because it just lowers your acceleration, change of direction, and speed, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to skip to the end, but I can just stop simming if it gets even closer, but it looks like it's over. Just ignore that voice crack there. Yeah, 37-27. An easy win for Cleveland. Johnny Manziel in the game of his life, going 14 for 24, 168 yards, 4 touchdowns to 1 interception. I mean, Nick Chubb still with 116 yards, but I'd say for once Manziel carried him. He had 3 carries for 4 yards. We're facing off against the Colts, the team that was just in the Super Bowl. That's great for us. And come on, Carolina, you're going up against the 6th seed 49ers. Do not choke to them and then beat either the Falcons, the defending Super Bowl champions, actually, or Seahawks, and then we can meet in the Super Bowl as long as we beat the Colts and then the Chargers or the Broncos. I just realized, Thurman, alright? Just realized this is the battle of Jonathan Taylor versus Nick Chubb. And I guess Thurman, who's an X Factor, versus Manziel, who was a 91 overall, and only has superstar abilities for some reason. And Jonathan Taylor tripped over his own offensive lineman. It looks like Cleveland's not been able to stop him. I guess that's why they're barely up. But I'm pretty sure Nick Chubb has had a really good game as well. Just the running backs have been dominant. And Cleveland getting a sack, forcing a 4th down. Looking to potentially put this game away. Did Nick Chubb lose his X Factor? Yeah, Nick Chubb regressed so much he lost his X Factor. 3rd and 5 here. Indianapolis needs a stopper. The season is potentially over. And Manziel throws a terrible pick 6, I believe. Yeah, Manziel's not going to be able to chase him down. Unless I'm wrong. No, Johnny Manziel just threw an awful pass that was taken back for 6 by White. White ends up taking it back for 6, and Johnny Manziel potentially costing the Browns their season. I mean, if he makes another pass like that, it's over. Cleveland now went from potentially ending Indianapolis this season to having their season ended. Now they are only down 3, have a minute 42 left, and all 3 timeouts, so it's definitely doable. I don't think, it might be Jacob Myers just got hurt for us. That is not good. I mean, Mayfield's getting good protection on 3rd and 4 here. He decides to roll out, and he does end up picking up the first down. No one's in front of him. Electing to use a timeout. I'm not entirely sure why. Throwing on the run. At least their star wide receiver was wide open there. Manziel 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. Calling a hurry up, wasting even more time, and then finally calling their first timeout. Good pass by Manziel. I don't know why he cut inside instead of running out of bounds. Has all day in the pocket and almost runs into number 51. And he gets stuffed at the 1 yard line. I kind of thought he was just going to run right into the end zone, but he kind of like juked into the Colts linebackers there. I'm not entirely sure why. 1 yard can potentially end the Colts season. And they stuffed Nick Chubb. Okay, Cleveland's just taking their field goal. And that field goal was just way too close. It was literally about a PAT right there. And I can't believe Cleveland got stuffed at the 1 yard line, so this game's going to overtime unless they return this kick for 6. Cleveland has to rely on their defense here to get a stop. And if Cleveland does get a defensive stop here, all they need is a field goal to win the game and advance to the AFC Championship. 3rd and 6 here. Indianapolis are in trouble if they don't get this, but it looks like Thurman's just going to roll out of the pocket, and 44 just ran over to the middle of the field. I think that's just a great representation of the Madden AI, how 44 literally could have just stood still and tackled the quarterback for a loss, forcing a punt and Cleveland to get the ball on offense, but instead he runs over to the middle of the field for no reason. Like, if he stands still, he tackles the quarterback there, and then Cleveland will get the ball back. But instead, he potentially just cost Cleveland their season. Especially if Jonathan Taylor keeps doing that. A little dump down pass to number 7, and that's game. Yeah, Cleveland just lost. Maybe partly to Johnny Manziel throwing that pick 6. Maybe partly to Johnny Manziel not running into the end zone and getting stuffed at the 1 yard line. Or number 44 just deciding to not tackle the quarterback. Manziel went 16 for 23, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns to what I would say is the game-losing pick 6. Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb just dominating. And Manziel had 3 carries for 40 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. Carolina does end up winning 38-21 against the San Francisco 49ers. Darnold ended up throwing for 297 yards, 2 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. Oh, there he is. Now he had 1 carry for -1 yard. So Carolina makes it to its 3rd Super Bowl. They dominated the Falcons 31-7 against the Colts, who ended up beating us. Darnold threw for 241 yards, 3 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. And rushing, he had 4 carries for 22 yards with no touchdowns and no fumbles. Carolina has won all 3 Super Bowls, Sam Darnold winning Super Bowl MVP, and Christian McCaffrey winning Offensive Player of the Year. So Sam Darnold is now a 3-time Super Bowl champion, with Johnny Manziel having 1 AFC championship to his name, and Darnold having 3 NFC championships, and a Super Bowl MVP. And Carolina's 3-5, they're not the best. We're both going to have to majorly turn around our seasons if we even want to remotely get close to the Super Bowl, or the playoffs let alone. Manziel with a nice pass. McCaffrey out of the backfield, almost to the end zone. Kind of reminiscent of the play in the Super Bowl that scored them their only touchdown. You can definitely see the differences of the offense. It's 1st and goal at the 7-yard line, and Carolina has used about 2 minutes at the time. And Cleveland, when they got in this position, they were a little bit further back, I think like the 15 maybe, but they used over 5 minutes of the clock. Darnold rolling out, throwing to the end zone. Okay, a beautiful catch, but I think that's going to get reversed. Okay, no, he's just straight up out. An amazing catch, but he was out of bounds. Yeah, his foot never hit the ground. Nope, I'm dumb, apparently. Alright. I wouldn't have called it a touchdown, but they're going to give it to Carolina. Tie game 7-7. Beautiful catch. Breaking off Jeremy Chin's tackle again, and he's gone. Number 40 is not going to catch him. Nick Chubb just Once again, to poor Jeremy Chin. It wasn't a stiff arm or a truck this time, he just broke out of his tackle. And he was just gone. I think it's the longest rush we've seen so far in this video. I guess technically Jeremy Chin just actually missed the tackle. And just like that, Cleveland strikes incredibly quickly, going up 14-7. As long as he makes it, at least. Yeah, he does. 14-7. Camera. Oh my god, I'm gonna have a seizure. What is wrong with the... Darnold going deep. To DJ Moore, it's incomplete. Wait, so it counted that touchdown that Darnold threw where it got challenged? That makes no sense, because in the Johnny Manziel game, I guess it was just a weird glitch, but when Johnny Manziel did that, it was just not added for him as a touchdown or the wide receiver. It was just like they magically scored out of nowhere. But if you looked at the box stats like I did, it just said Johnny Manziel didn't throw a touchdown pass and the receiver didn't catch one. But here it actually counts for stats, and I thought DJ Moore was going to catch that. I don't know why Sam Darnold chucked it deep 3 plays in a row when he has all 3 timeouts and 1:20 left. I guess they just wanted to give the ball back to Cleveland and let Nick Chubb just run straight through them again. I don't know why I'm treating it like a playoff game. It's just week 9 of the regular season, and both teams have 2 wins, and it's roughing the kicker. Wow. I thought he was going to block it for a second, but he missed. Roughing the kicker. Why does the ref have brass knuckles? What is that? I guess that's who stole Sam Darnold's real life number, I guess. Damn, that was awful. That guy needs to be cut after that. That was terrible. Very quiet game for him and Darnold. And now this kick cannot be as bad as the kick that Carolina just had. And it missed. I think it went wide right. Brown on the Browns. Yeah, it would have... I think that just would have made it, but it was too far to the right. So both kickers suck. Carolina's just has no leg, no kick power at all, and that guy went wide right and almost missed it on power. And Darnold just gets the ball stripped from him, and it's returned for 6. Yeah, and Sam Darnold just threw the game away. Well, I guess fumbled the game away. And McCaffrey just waltzes right into the end zone, but D. Stewart gets injured for Carolina. This could be the game. If Cleveland picks up a first down, it's potentially over, and they run a screen pass that Nick Chubb ends up dropping. So Carolina gets 2 of their timeouts, 1:49 left, as long as they do not rough the kicker. And, oh, that was almost a roughing the kicker. 3rd and 10, Carolina, 1 minute left. Still have both their timeouts, but not going to use them. Darnold throwing to McCaffrey on the sideline, who didn't catch it. Oh, it actually got overturned. So McCaffrey does indeed end up getting a beautiful sideline grab there. Darnold getting sacked. Perfect time to use a timeout. Or not. I guess, yeah. Don't want to slow down the game. And he gets fumbles, actually. And they finally call their timeout after he got sacked and then fumbled. And it is now 4th and 30. About Matt Rule's play calling and Sam Darnold playing. Darnold threw the game away by getting sacked and then fumbling the ball. And the fumble earlier that was recovered for a touchdown. And Matt Rule calling a screen pass on 4th and 30 when they need a touchdown to even tie the game. Well, Darnold went 17 for 28 for 241 yards, 1 touchdown. Manziel went 10 for 16, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Running the ball, Manziel went 4 for 4, no touchdowns, no fumbles. And Darnold went 2 for 19 with no touchdowns, 2 fumbles, and a fumble that was recovered for 6. Yep, 5 and 12. Wow, we only won 2 more games the entire season. I'm just going to assume they were at the bottom as well with us. No, they did better at 7 and 10, both missing out on the playoffs though. And Manziel ended up throwing for 4,240 yards, 33 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. And running the ball, he had 34 carries, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. And Sam Darnold threw for 4,639 yards, 27 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. And he had 36 carries for 173 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 fumbles. In Denver, oh well, look, I guess that's where Myles Garrett ended up going. Myles Garrett is the Super Bowl MVP on the Broncos, who beat the Bears 13-9. He ends up signing a 4-year deal to remain in Cleveland. And Cleveland managed to turn it around, actually going 10-7 and making the playoffs. Granted, just the wild card, but they managed to improve. 3 wins. And Carolina misses out on the playoffs. And Carolina goes 7-10, I believe, for the 2nd straight year in a row. Johnny Manziel ended up throwing for 4,365 yards, 38 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Probably his best season statistically so far. And he ended up having 45 carries, 211 yards, 0 touchdowns to 0 fumbles. Sam Darnold ended up throwing for 4,318 yards, 25 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. And on the ground, he had 35 carries, 155 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Wow, number 9 just wide open. I think that was Johnny Manziel's 4th passing touchdown this game. He's just actually going off. 3rd and 6, they are in field goal range at least, but you know Manziel wants that touchdown. And he's going to end up getting the 1st down at least. Manziel 3 passes in a row, and he gets sacked. Wow, that one dude has 3 sacks. With 3rd and 17, 50 seconds left. They're back at the 20-yard line. Manziel throws off his back foot. Oh, and he dropped it. That was almost one of the greatest touchdown catches ever. Looks like Cleveland's going to be forced to take the field goal and tie up the game 31-31. Miami has all 3 timeouts, 40 seconds left. They just need to get into field goal range, and Tua's going deep. And I think that is Jerry Jeudy, who just caught it and pretty much just won the game off that one play. Yeah, Cleveland just elects not to ice the kicker. And it's good, yeah. Time expires. Cleveland did not use that timeout, I don't know why, to at least give themselves a shot. We had a quarterback battle here. Manziel went 23 for 34, 316 yards, 4 touchdowns, but to 2 interceptions. And Manziel had 6 carries for 35 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. And, Johnny Manziel actually made the Pro Bowl. I'm honestly shocked. He finally did it. It only took him to 10 years? It only took him 10 years, but he finally made it into one Pro Bowl. Kansas City demolishes Tampa Bay, winning 38-13. And the Browns' wide receiver won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I'm pretty sure he is already an X Factor in his rookie year. And Manziel is still not an X Factor. So Sam Darnold is back on a 4-year deal, and Johnny Manziel, I think he signed a 3 or 5. I'm not entirely sure. Johnny Manziel ended up signing a 4-year deal because he signed it last year. Going 8-9, having a losing record, and actually winning our division. Very rare that you will ever see that. I'm pretty sure Carolina did it one year. 6-11 for the Panthers. Well, it looks like this is back-to-back years where the Browns make it to the playoffs, or going into the wild card, and Carolina just straight up misses the playoffs. Johnny Manziel threw for 4,108 yards, 30 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. He had 44 carries, 139 yards, 1 touchdown to 0 fumbles. Sam Darnold threw for 4,702 yards, 37 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. And on the ground, he had 31 carries for 153 yards, 1 touchdown to 0 fumbles. Okay, I see why they sucked. This is one of the most depressing running back rooms I've ever seen. The wide receiver had the 4th most rushing yards on the team at 60. They only had 13 rushing touchdowns the entire year. Sam Darnold finished 2nd in the MVP race. Not entirely sure how, but good for him. I guess he did play actually really good, just the run game was atrocious. It's probably exactly what did them in. Very close one there. Cleveland does end up winning 26-23. Manziel had 22 completions, 29 attempts, 289 yards, 1 touchdown to 0 interceptions. On the ground, he had 3 carries for 8 yards, no touchdowns, and no fumbles. We're looking at a tie game here, 13-13, minute 46 left in the game. Both teams still have all of their timeouts, and Houston has the ball. At Cleveland's 21, so they're in prime scoring position, or just position to end the game in general, wasting time and kicking a field goal. It's honestly probably what is going to happen. Houston's taking the field goal, which obviously it's up, and it is good. So Houston is up 3, 16-13. Cleveland has about a minute left, like a minute 15. Very unfortunate for Cleveland. 3rd and 6 here. Season on the line. Seems like they are in this scenario a lot. Almost roughing the passer, but it's not Why did... Okay. Now 4th and 3, Cleveland is forced to go for it. If they do not get it here, they lose the game. They go home. If they win, they go to the AFC Championship. Risky pass with an amazing catch by number 2. Now they are in field goal range. Okay, no, they're not. That's just a weird glitch on the side. Well, now the problem is they're probably just going to go for Hail Marys. Yep. Oh my god, number 9. Wow, that animation screwed him. Number 9 just got screwed by the animation. But Cleveland had a chance to score. He just got screwed by that animation and kind of a bad pass by Manziel. Now this is the end of the game right here. Hail Mary to the back of the end zone. It was almost caught at the tight end. Such a heartbreaking way to lose right there. Now Manziel did not have a good game. He went 18 of 31, 192 yards, 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. He had 4 carries for 15 yards. Once again, 0 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. So that one was kind of Manziel's fault. Actually, no, it was. Just making bad passes. I mean, number 9 had a real chance to catch that if the pass was more on target. San Francisco beats out Houston 24-19 to end up winning the Super Bowl. Very disappointing season. I mean, at least Cleveland made the playoffs, but they had 8 wins to 9 losses. I mean, they just squeaked by the rest of the division being terrible. I mean, because like, if the rest of the division goes above 500, obviously we just don't make it. We just got lucky that our division decided to suck this year. We somehow got worse this year, going 5-12. Losing 3 more games than we did last year. Carolina's nowhere to be seen. So I guess we are now seeing what happens when 2 teams lose their carries, aka Nick Chubb and Christian McCaffrey. Carolina going 7-10 yet again. Johnny Manziel threw for 4,444 yards, 28 touchdowns to 18 interceptions. And on the ground, he had 42 carries, 218 yards, 2 touchdowns to 0 fumbles. Sam Darnold had 4,108 passing yards, 28 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. This is such a pitiful running game. He had 36 carries, 160 yards, 1 touchdown to 0 fumbles. Well, Johnny Manziel led the league in interceptions. I guess that's something. And the Falcons won Super Bowl 68, 31-24, beating out the Ravens. He signed a 2-year deal. Well, it looks like we're having, I believe, the 5th matchup? Now, I'm pretty sure this is the 5th time they've met, including regular and postseason. And well, just by looking at the record, Carolina is infinitely better than us and will probably destroy Cleveland. They're 8-3, we're 4-7. And this should make Sam Darnold, if he wins, I didn't want to play offense only. And it should make Sam Darnold, if he wins, go up 3-2 in their little series of games they played against each other. In their quarterback duels, Darnold will take a 3-2 lead if he wins. It's been such a boring first quarter, nothing has happened. Well, I guess that's something that happens. A fake punt, and it's dropped. He had 2 opportunities to catch that. I mean, I guess that makes up for a very boring first quarter. A fake punt that was dropped twice. Honestly, if that dude caught it and then like broke off the tackle or juked or something, that honestly could have been a touchdown. But Cleveland just fumbling a chance to score, or at least pick up the first down at least. That is one of the worst run plays ever. I know, because I used the Panthers playbook. It is that stupid fake jet sweep run. It never works. I don't care I don't care who the actual running back is. That play just never works. Oh my god! I think it's getting. Yeah, that was out of bounds. I was about to say Darnold threw the ball over 10 yards, but it was incomplete. It's the most exciting play the Panthers have had so far. Aside from a couple good runs by number 14, Walton. I mean, it's just been slow and boring. And it went in. I honestly thought it went a little bit to the right. But hey, Carolina's kicker actually made a field goal. 6 for 7 for 26. Yeah. I was right on the yardage. Did I just say all 26 of the receiving yards have gone to the running back? I was about to say because they need an X-Factor running back, but Cleveland has an X-Factor running back. I guess it doesn't matter when your receiver drops a wide open pass. Manziel is 3 for 7 for 17 yards. He's looking to make that even more. And he actually caught it. I'm honestly shocked that he didn't drop it. But 13 seconds left. Cleveland has 57 total yards. About to go to halftime. Manziel runs right into the defender. Really? That's... Alright. I guess he just wanted to pad his own stats. 5 for 9, 43 passing yards. What a half of football, I can say. Manziel went 15 for 30, 181 yards, 1 touchdown to 1 interception. And Darnold went 19 of 27 for 165 yards and 1 touchdown. And Johnny Manziel had 1 rush for 9 yards. The MVP of this game is easily going to Pat Walden and Max Davidson. Carolina ended up having 5 punts for 214 yards. And Cleveland ended up having 4 punts for 166 yards. Carolina's punter here, Pat Walden, had more punting yards. He punted for 214 yards. That is more than both of the quarterbacks threw for. Cleveland 7-10, missing the playoffs yet again. I don't see this becoming a trend at this point. Carolina going 11-6, winning their division. It's just kind of like a little rotating thing, like Carolina will make it and Cleveland will miss it, or Cleveland will make it and Carolina will miss it, or they'll both make it and end up losing. Very sad scenarios. So the Panthers will end up playing the 7th-seeded Packers. Johnny Manziel ended up throwing for 3,872 yards, 27 touchdowns to 17 interceptions, and on the ground he had 35 carries for 140 yards, no touchdowns, and no fumbles. And Sam Darnold threw for 4,133 yards, 26 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, and on the ground he had 35 carries for 118 yards, 4 touchdowns to 0 fumbles. And Carolina does not choke against the 7th-seeded Packers, winning 28-14. Darnold threw for 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. And rushing, he had 1 carry for 6 yards, no touchdowns. And they end up losing 10-16 to Dallas. Of all teams you lose to, it is Dallas. Sam Darnold threw for 233 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and he had 1 carry for 10 yards. And in Super Bowl 69, Dallas ends up destroying Denver 47-24. In year 14, a contract year for both Manziel and Darnold, Cleveland goes 8-9, and this time the division was not bad enough for them to make the playoffs going 8-9. Let's see what Carolina did, if they made it or missed it. And Carolina was the 3rd worst team in the league, going 5-12. Johnny Manziel threw for 4,054 yards, 29 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. And on the ground, he had 37 carries for 136 yards, 2 touchdowns to 0 fumbles. Sam Darnold finished with 4,284 yards, 29 touchdowns to 16 interceptions. And he finished with 33 carries for 156 yards, no touchdowns, and no fumbles. And in Super Bowl 70, the Broncos end up easily winning it 28-7. Manziel ends up staying in Cleveland, signing a 1-year deal. And Darnold ended up staying in Carolina and signing a 1-year deal. I'm kind of curious now if it'll be like that Tua situation, where they just sign 1-year deals and stay in the league until they're 50. And pretty shocking, the Cleveland Browns make the playoffs going 8-9, beating out Cincinnati, who also went 8-9. This is the second time we've had a record of 8-9, aka a losing record, and won our division. And Carolina misses going 7-10. Johnny Manziel threw... In his 15th year, Johnny Manziel threw for 3,713 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Running the ball, he had 40 carries for 136 yards, 1 touchdown to no fumbles. And Sam Darnold threw for 4,160 yards, 34 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, and had 38 carries for 156 yards, no touchdowns to no fumbles. Well, it looks like Denver is clearly the better team, considering it's the end of the first quarter and we're already down 3 scores. Make that 4. Okay. Yeah, I guess at least we scored a complimentary touchdown. For what it's worth. Down 34-7. I think it's safe to say we're not going to jump in and watch this because... Oh, yeah, we're not going to be down by 40. We didn't lose by 40 at least. But we did end up losing 44-14. Johnny Manziel threw for 24. Johnny Manziel went 24 for 36. For 298 yards, 1 touchdown to 4 interceptions. Looks like age is kind of starting to get to him there. On the ground, he had 5 carries for 26 yards, with 0 touchdowns and 0 fumbles. And in Super Bowl 71, Denver wins easily because it's Detroit, 31-14. Pretty sure, yeah, they've won back-to-back. So Denver has been in the last 3 Super Bowls and won the last 2. Cleveland actually having a decent season for once, going 12-5. I think this is the best record in maybe like 5 years. Oh god, I would just hope we don't have to face off against Denver and Carolina, 11-6. Cleveland 12-5, Carolina 11-6. I think it's like the best the 2 teams have ever done, at least in a long time, probably even a decade for Cleveland at this point. All right, as it may seem obvious, I'm an idiot and forgot that it was a contract year for both Manziel and Darnold. As you can see, Manziel finally decided to leave Cleveland and went to Tennessee, and he has regressed all the way to a star now. It's very unfortunate for him. I mean, I was going to look at his stats in a second, but this is far and away the best year he's ever had in his career. 40 touchdowns, that's easily a career high. Yeah, his next is 38. Yeah, he signed a 1-year, only a $6 million deal with Tennessee, so it looks like the end is coming up for Johnny Manziel. And Darnold signed a 2-year deal. I just completely forgot that it was a contract year. And well, I guess time to see if Tennessee... Why am I doing that? There's literally an option where I can just go see the playoff bracket. But now it's time to keep track of Johnny Manziel on Tennessee, who missed the playoffs. How did they miss the playoffs when their quarterback threw for 40 touchdowns? They went 8-9, despite Manziel's amazing season, obviously a career high at like 36 years old, I believe. As we saw earlier, Johnny Manziel having a career year, throwing for 42,530 yards, 40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He just gets sacked 31 times, though. That's a alarming amount. And he had 40 carries for 128 yards, 2 touchdowns with no fumbles. And Darnold threw for 4,510 yards, 33 touchdowns with 17 interceptions. He had 38 carries, 143 yards, no touchdowns, no fumbles. Johnny Manziel does end up leading the league in touchdown passes. I'm pretty sure he's the first one between him and Darnold to actually do it. And Carolina loses 14-17 to the 6th seeded Seahawks. Darnold threw for 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he did not have a rush, or he did not have a carry at all this game. Alright, the Browns are in the Super Bowl. The second they drop Manziel, they go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, and Manziel does not. Okay, so Sam Darnold made the Pro Bowl, but Johnny Manziel didn't. Well, it took until Super Bowl 72, but Minnesota finally got their first ever Super Bowl championship, beating Cleveland 28-21. And of course, by the way, the first season Johnny Manziel leaves, or the first season that Johnny Manziel left the Browns, they go to the Super Bowl. It is a loss, and Cleveland is now 0-2 in Super Bowls, but, I mean, that's the first time making it in over a decade at least. Manziel finished second in the MVP race, at a 78 overall. He is just regressing so heavily. I kind of wish he won it. That's just unfortunate. He didn't even win the Offensive Player of the Year. Man, Manziel has just been unlucky, like how he has had the inability to get an X Factor. Yep, there he is. A poor free agent. Now, honestly, they're probably going to cut him. I'm just going to go to mid-season, actually, and see if they do end up cutting him. And if they do, I'm just going to re-sign him to a deal that'll cripple him if they decide to cut him. And you know what? This is, year 16? Let's get one more Johnny Manziel versus Sam Darnold matchup. Carolina is 8-1 to Cleveland's 2-6. Show me into the fourth quarter of possibly the last ever meeting between Sam Darnold and Johnny Manziel. I mean, Manziel and the Browns have just been dominating the Panthers. 34-14. Darnold looks like he's struggling. 16 for 26, 206 yards, and an interception. But after this match, Johnny Manziel will have, because Darnold won the first ever matchup and then the Super Bowl matchup. Yeah, that is Johnny Manziel. He's wearing number 7, and he's 18 for 23, 267 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So Manziel has actually just went off this game. Kind of weird to see him at number 7, but I guess someone else took his number. And my most important thing was just getting him on this team. And they didn't decide to cut him, which is awesome. Manziel looks to make it 5, and he does. That's his 5th passing touchdown of the game. How does he still have his X Factor? Manziel's already regressed from a star. And Johnny Manziel went 20 for 26, 285 yards with 5 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. Darnold went 20 for 33, 253 yards with no touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Darnold had 4 carries for 22 yards with no touchdowns and no fumbles, and Manziel had 2 carries for 11 yards with also no touchdowns and no fumbles. And Cleveland's favorite record to go is 8-9. Our entire division went 9-8 except us, who went 8-9. Time to see if Carolina folded completely. No, not completely, going 10-7, only winning 2 more games after that game. They almost just sold the season for themselves. But they make the playoffs, and Cleveland ends up missing him. Johnny Manziel threw for 3,000, and in his 17th season, back when I brought him out of free agency, he did pretty fine. He had 3,153 yards, 29 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, and he had 31 carries, 97 yards, a touchdown, and no fumbles. And Sam Darnold threw for 4,461 yards, 37 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Carolina does end up, I guess, technically upsetting the 4th-seeded Chicago Bears, winning 24-16. Sam Darnold threw for 243 yards, 2 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. And he had 2 carries for 3 yards with no touchdowns and also no fumbles. But unfortunately, they do lose to the 3rd-seeded Rams 30-24. I kind of wish they were able to make one last Super Bowl push. Darnold threw for 360 yards, 2 touchdowns with 1 interception, and he did not have a single carry at all. Johnny Manziel threw for 64,769 yards, and in 17 years in the NFL, Johnny Manziel threw for 64,769 passing yards, 485 passing touchdowns, 209 interceptions. He was sacked 482 times, and with running the ball, he had 624 carries, 2,508 rushing yards, 17 touchdowns, and no fumbles. Johnny Manziel's statistics in 17 years, he was the first overall pick. He's won a bunch of these Offensive Player of the Weeks, but for some reason it only shows the current season you're in and does not stack them, which it literally could just say AFC Offensive Player of the Week X 13, like 13 times or whatever. He was the league leader in passer rating, which is a lie. It was the league leader in touchdowns. I don't know why they can't code the word to take out passer rating and just put passing touchdowns. And in 2037, he was the best quarterback. We'll make that 7 Pro Bowls for Sam Darnold, because I decided to look at the stats just in case they retire. Super Bowl 73 is won by the Colts, 38-28 over the Philadelphia Eagles. That will actually do it for Johnny Manziel, retiring after 17 years. And Sam Darnold decides to do what Johnny Manziel did and leave for a whole new team for a year and then probably retire. But he goes to join Dallas, probably on a 1-year deal, I'm assuming. I mean, he's still a 90 overall X-Factor quarterback, so I could see him staying a little bit longer. But it's weird that him and Johnny Manziel both stayed on their respective teams for 16 years, 15 years, and then just up and leave. Well, unfortunately for Sam Darnold, Dallas goes 10-7, just barely missing out on the playoffs. The Panthers also missed out on the playoffs, going 9-8, and Cleveland also missed out on the playoffs. They went, where are they, 5-12. Sam Darnold, in his 18th and potentially final year, threw for 4,265 yards, 36 touchdowns to 14 interceptions, and he used 42 carries for 148 yards, 2 touchdowns with no fumbles. And the Bears end up winning Super Bowl 74, 24-21 over the Colts. Yep, there it is. After 18 years, Sam Darnold officially calls it a career, retiring as a 90 overall X-Factor, maybe superstar quarterback. And here I'm going to put their career statistics from their last seasons. Manziel, I believe, 2 years ago, and Darnold this year. Johnny Manziel threw for 64,769 yards, and in 17 years in the NFL, Johnny Manziel threw for 64,769 passing yards, 485 passing touchdowns, 209 interceptions. He was sacked 482 times, and with running the ball, he had 624 carries, 2,508 rushing yards, 17 touchdowns, and no fumbles. Johnny Manziel's statistics in 17 years, he was the first overall pick. He's won a bunch of these Offensive Player of the Weeks, but for some reason it only shows the current season you're in and does not stack them, which it literally could just say AFC Offensive Player of the Week X 13, like 13 times or whatever. He was the league leader in passer rating, which is a lie. It was the league leader in touchdowns. I don't know why they can't code the word to take out passer rating and just put passing touchdowns. And in 2037, he was the best quarterback. And in 18 years, Sam Darnold has managed to pass for 79,191 passing yards, 573 touchdowns, 209 interceptions. He's been sacked 534 times. And he has 680 carries for 2,773 yards, 24 touchdowns to 3 fumbles. And he was the second overall pick. He made 6 Pro Bowls, which I think is a lie because a couple years ago he made 1, so that's like maybe 7 or 8 even. I don't know why that number's not accurate. Just ignore the Offensive Player of the Week because it only counts for that season. And I wish they would just put something like NFC Offensive Player of the Week 4X, just so you know how many times they won that award. He led the league in passing yards for one season, not passer rating. In 2022, he was the Offensive Rookie of the Year. In 2027, he was the Offensive Player of the Year and the best quarterback. In 2029, he was the best quarterback. In 2032, he won the Offensive Player of the Year and the best quarterback award, also along with a Super Bowl MVP and 3 Super Bowls. I just hate how you have to come to here. I hate how you have to come over to the Legacy Leaderboard to see his Super Bowls. But 3 Super Bowls, 3 AFC Championships, 12 yearly awards, and 5th all-time in quarterback legacy. So Sam Darnold does end up making it on the 5th all-time for passing yards in a career at 79,191. And for passing touchdowns, he is actually 3rd all-time with 573. And unfortunately, Johnny Manziel made neither of these lists. That's kind of crazy. Sam Darnold ends up 3rd all-time in passing touchdowns and 5th all-time in passing yards. I would say Sam Darnold had the better career because he was 3rd all-time in passing touchdowns, 5th all-time in passing yards. He won 3 Super Bowls, a Super Bowl MVP, and all those other accolades that he had, while Manziel had none, really. I mean, he had a really good team, especially the first couple years. But after that, it just kind of fell apart. Darnold was throwing for more yards and more touchdowns. Around the same interceptions, maybe a little bit less. But just Darnold played better. And that'll do it for this video. I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.